Hello all, my name is Hitesh Tamani and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, today I'm back with another important data science problem. In this particular problem, we have to find percentage share of new users versus repeat users. This is an important yet a useful topic in almost all the companies. So make sure you watch the video till end to learn something new. And please subscribe to my channel if not already done yet, as I will be coming up with a lot more useful content. And guys, the same problem I have already solved using SQL as well. So if you guys had already watched the video of that particular solution, so I would recommend you could avoid the introduction part of this particular problem, and you can jump directly to the solution part, right? So let me just quickly explain you the particular problem and then like how can we solve this particular problem using Python. So this is the CSV file which we have given. So let me just run this and we'll show you what the data set looks like. So it would be df dot head. Yeah. So in this particular data set, like we have ID, time ID, user ID, customer ID, and this is an e-commerce platform data set, right? So now basically in this particular problem, what we have to do, we have to figure out or we have to calculate new users and existing or repeat users percentage share, right? And that too at a month level, right? Now in this particular problem, the definition of new user had also been given. So new users are nothing but basically those who had basically started the service in the current month, right? So basically in a specific month, if a particular user came to the platform and there is no historical historical data available for that particular user, that user is considered as a new user, right? So for that, can I say this thing? Basically, out of this particular data set, we need to basically work on just two columns, which are nothing but like time ID and the user ID, right? So basically what we have to do, for every user, we have to compare like what is the occurrence of that particular user, right? So for that, let me just quickly check like what is the shape of this particular data. So df dot shape, it's like 150 records and 7 columns are there, right? Now, since we have to basically calculate, or since we have to basically fetch month from this particular time ID column, right? So in order to fetch month, we have a predefined function in Python, which is like dt.month, right? But for that, we need to ensure like this column should be a date time column, right? So for that, let me just check like what is the data type of this particular column, right? So as we can see, the data type of this column is like object, right? So for sure, we have to convert this into date time, right? So I will use df time ID, right? And I will basically convert this into pd dot to underscore date time, right? And I will use the same column over here, right? Now, since this particular column got converted to date time, now what I will do, I will basically create a new column as month, right? And this month will be nothing but basically I have to basically fetch the time ID, like a month from this particular column, right? So I will use df time ID dot dt dot month, right? So once I will use this, I will be able to get month column. So let me just quickly show you. Uh, the head of this. Yeah. So as we can see, basically, this is the time ID column, and we were able to fetch the month from this, right? Now, since we got month from this, can I say this thing like from this particular data set, right? We have to figure out what is the very first occurrence of a particular user, right? So what very first occurrence is nothing but, can I say this thing? I have to fetch the minimum of this time ID. So for every user, what is the minimum date of that particular user, right? So in order to do that, or in order to fetch that, I have to do a group by on this particular column, right? And I have to fetch the minimum of this time ID, right? So for that, I will use data frame as df minimum time, right? And I will do a group by on df. So df dot group by, right? Group by of what? Group by of user ID, right? Uh, dot aggregate. I will use minimum time ID as a column name, right? And I will do time ID, like minimum of time ID, right? And I will do reset index as well over here, since to make our data set look like in a tabular format. So reset index, right? Now let me just quickly show you where the error is. Attribute error. Oh, my bad. So it should be group by. Okay. Yeah. So let me just quickly show you how this is looking like. Yeah. So as we can see, for a specific user, we got the minimum time ID, right? Now, can I say this thing? If I will merge this particular value or this particular data set back to our original data set, I will be able to get minimum time ID for a specific user, right? So for that, what I'm doing over here is I will use df uh, df one. I will for timing I will use df1, and I will use pd dot merge over here. This I will basically merging on df only, right? So df, and I will merge it with df minimum time, right? On what? On user ID, right? I will perform a inner join over here. So how is equal to inner, right? Let me just run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. So df1 dot head. Yeah, so as you can see, basically this is the time ID, original time ID, and this is minimum time ID, right? So basically this particular user came on a platform for the very first time. This particular user came on 6th of Feb, right? Now, what we have to do again, we have to basically compare like month of this with month of like with original month, right? So again, what we have to do, we have to basically calculate month of this particular column as well, right? So again, for that I will use the same like method, which is tt dot month. So I'm copy pasting it from above, and I will use df1 over here, right? And I will give this as new name as like minimum month, right? I will use this time I will use minimum time ID value over here, right? Now, let me just show you how our output will look like now. Yeah, so as we can see, basically we are having month. This is the original month, and this is the minimum month, right? Now, can I say this thing? If I will compare, so basically, if I will compare these two columns, right, I will be able, so basically this column, like original month is equal to minimum month, right? Can I say this thing? Then that particular user will be a new user, because that particular user came for the very first time in that month only, right? Else it will be a repeat user, right? So for that, what I'm doing over here is I'm creating a new user flag, right? So it will be a new user flag, right? Yeah, so basically I am using NumPy for like creating a new user flag. So it would be np dot where. This is somewhat similar to if else condition, right? So I'm using np dot where of what? df1 month, which is the original month, right? So basically df1 dot month is equal to df1 of minimum month, right? So if our month is equal to minimum month, then what should we get? We get user ID over here, right? So I'm copying it, pasting it over here. We need user ID, right? Else zero, right? Else we don't want anything, right? And for this, I will give this as a column name as df. We can give it as new user flag, new user flag. Okay. Now let me just run this and we'll show you our output. It should be df1, where the problem is new user flag should be month, minimum month. I think it's fine. Minimum month. Why it is giving me an error? Oh, my bad. It should be df1. Okay, cool. So df1 dot head. Okay, so as you can see, basically, we got this as a new user, right? And like basically, yeah, and this is a repeat user, right? Because like if you can see, time ID of this is 4, right? Like basically, the like fresh occurrence of this is in the month of uh, Fab, and this is a repeat occurrence, right? So likewise, we got like new user flag over here, right? Now basically, can I say this thing? Uh, if I will basically get just new user from here, right? And then I will basically count them, right? I will be able to get a count of new user, right? So what I'm doing over here is I am just filtering out new users from this particular column, right? So for that, what I will do, I will use location function, right? So df.lock, right? And for that, I will do df of what? Df of new user flag, and it should be df1 over here, right? df1 new user flag, right? And it should not be equal to 0, right? So for that, I'm using not equal to 0 over here, right? And I will give this as df new user. Okay. Now, can I say this thing? Let me just first of all show you what is the value of this. So it's nothing but the same data frame, just I have basically removed 0 from this, right? So basically this particular data frame contains all the values of new users, right? Now can I say this thing, if I will do a count of like all these like new users, I will be able to get new user count, right? So can I say this thing, df new user is equal to uh, df new user dot group by, right? Group by of what? Group by of month, right? On the basis of month, we need that count, right? So group by of month dot aggregate, right? I am giving this as df new users, right? And I will basically do a count of new user flags. So I will copy this, pasting it over here. Okay. And for count, I will use, like basically we have to do a unique count, right? So for that, I will use an unique, right? Uh, yeah, and this I will give this as new data frame name. So yeah, let me just run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. Yeah, so as you can see, basically we got month, and let me just do a reset index as well, so that like it could be a tabular form. Yeah. So as we can see, basically we got month, we got new users as well, right? Now, can I say this thing? If I will do a count of all the users, right, that will be my like total users, right? Division of new users and total users will give me like a percentage share of new users, right? So for that, I will use same like exactly same piece of code over here, right? The only thing is basically what I will do, I will change this as df1 on the basis of like month only I have to do count, and like it could be total users, right? Or let me just do one thing. I will do count of that. Okay, let's do it over here, and then we will merge it back with the month, right? So it should be total users, right? Total users is nothing but basically user ID, count of user ID. right? And we have to do this from df1, which is the original data frame, and this is nothing but df total user grouped, right? Let me just run this. Let me just show you how it will look like. Yeah, so at a month level we got like total count of like users, right? Now what we have to do, we have to merge these two data frames, right? So I'm using pd or df final. I will give this as a data frame name. I will use pd dot merge, right? What df new user group comma df total user group, right? On what? On month, right? And how is equal to inner, right? Now df final, right? So as we can see, basically at a month level, we got new users and repeat users, right? Now, can I say this thing? If I will perform a division of these two, I will get basically new user share. And from total, if I will subtract new users, I will get my repeat users, right? So for that, I will use df final, right? I will give this as new user share, right? And basically this is nothing but tf new users divided by df total users. So this could be new users and this could be total users, right? Similarly, can I say this thing? If I will subtract, basically from total, if I will subtract new user, I will get existing user share or new or repeat user share. So for that, what I'm doing over here is it could be existing user share, which is nothing but 1 minus new user share, right? So let me just run this tf final. Yep. So as you can see, this is month. These are new users. These are like total users, and this is a share of basically new user and a existing user, right? So yep, that's all from my side. I hope you got to learn something new today, and I have used so many different functions over here with respect to each and specific logic, right? So yep, that's all from my side. Thank you one and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.